Eamonn Holmes blasts PM's defence plans, a betrayal. In a passionate critique of the UK Prime Minister's recent defence spending plans, broadcaster Eamonn Holmes has denounced the government's approach as a betrayal of the British public. The remarks came as Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced his intention to allocate a significant portion of the UK's GDP to defence spending, a move that has stirred controversy among various political figures and public commentators. The background of the Prime Minister's defence announcement. In late February 2025, Prime Minister Keir Starmer revealed plans to increase the UK's defence budget, setting a target to reach 2.5% of the nation's GDP by 2027. The ambitious proposal includes a longer-term goal to elevate defence spending to 3% in the subsequent parliamentary term. This marks a significant shift in the government's defence strategy, positioning national security and military expansion as top priorities. However, these announcements come at a time when public services and social welfare programs have been under intense pressure. While the government assures that the increase in defense funding is necessary for the nation's security, the decision has generated significant public backlash, especially regarding the funding sources. The controversial funding mechanism. In order to fund the proposed increase in defense spending, the government has decided to cut the foreign aid budget. The UK's foreign aid commitment, which was previously set at 0.5% of gross national income (GNI), will be reduced to 0.3% by 2027. This shift has sparked heated debate, particularly among charities and international development groups, who argue that such cuts will undermine global efforts to combat poverty, health crises, and humanitarian issues. While the government insists that the reallocation of funds is necessary to ensure the nation's security in an increasingly volatile geopolitical climate, critics argue that this move places military priorities ahead of the pressing social and humanitarian needs both at home and abroad. Eamonn Holmes' fierce critique. Eamonn Holmes, known for his outspoken commentary on various political matters, did not mince words when reacting to the Prime Minister's announcement. On his GB News platform, Holmes expressed strong disapproval, accusing the government of betraying the British people by prioritising military spending over essential services and social welfare. Holmes' critique focused on the fact that the decision to cut foreign aid while increasing defence spending seemed contradictory in the face of growing domestic poverty and inequality. He pointed out that the UK has pressing issues to address within its own borders, including homelessness, rising energy costs, and an increasingly strained healthcare system. According to Holmes, focusing on foreign conflicts and military expenditures while domestic issues continue to escalate is a betrayal of the public's trust. Holmes' concerns about foreign aid cuts. One of Holmes' central concerns was the reduction in foreign aid. As the government plans to decrease its international development commitments, Holmes questioned the morality of such a decision. He pointed out that foreign aid has been instrumental in addressing global challenges such as famine, disease, and education. Reducing this budget, according to Holmes, would signal a retreat from the UK's international responsibilities. Holmes was particularly critical of the government's framing of the issue, which suggested that military spending was essential to protect the nation's interests. He stated, "We're focusing on defense, but at what cost to our reputation as a global leader in humanitarian aid? This is a betrayal of our values." Reactions to the Prime Minister's defense plans. Holmes' criticisms have been echoed by various groups within the UK, including opposition MPs, who have called the Prime Minister's defense strategy reckless and misguided. Labour and Liberal Democrat representatives have expressed their dismay, arguing that the government's priorities are deeply misaligned with the needs of ordinary citizens. They believe that while national security is important, it should not come at the expense of social and humanitarian efforts. Charities and non-governmental organizations (NGOs) have been particularly vocal in their opposition to the reduction in foreign aid. They warn that cutting aid could jeopardize vital projects in the developing world and damage the UK's credibility as a leader in global development. According to some of these groups, the UK's foreign aid plays a crucial role in tackling issues such as climate change, conflict resolution, and health crises, all of which have a direct impact on global stability. Government's defense priorities. While the backlash continues to grow, the government defends its decision, arguing that strengthening the UK's defense capabilities is critical in the face of growing global threats. Officials have pointed to rising tensions with Russia and China, as well as regional instability in the Middle East, as justifications for increasing defense funding. The Prime Minister has maintained that the UK's commitment to global development will not be abandoned but merely adjusted to reflect the changing priorities of the international landscape. The government has also promised that the cuts to foreign aid will be carefully managed to ensure that the most vulnerable populations are still supported, although many critics remain skeptical of these assurances. The international reaction. On the global stage, the Prime Minister's decision has received mixed reactions. While some international allies, including the United States under the Trump administration, have expressed support for the increased military spending, many development-focused organizations have condemned the cuts. Critics argue that the UK, as a major international player, should be investing in soft power initiatives like foreign aid rather than focusing solely on military power. Furthermore, foreign leaders have voiced concerns about the UK's long-term commitment to international aid. Some fear that this could set a dangerous precedent, where other nations might follow suit and reduce their foreign aid contributions, potentially undermining global development efforts. Public opinion. Public opinion on the matter is divided. A significant portion of the British public understands the need for defense spending, especially in light of security concerns and international threats. However, there is also widespread concern about the domestic implications of the cuts to foreign aid, particularly among those who believe that Britain should play a leading role in addressing global poverty and inequality. Polls indicate that many citizens are torn between the need for stronger national security and the moral obligation to support international development. Some argue that the government should seek alternative funding sources, such as increasing taxes on the wealthiest citizens or reducing unnecessary domestic expenditures, rather than sacrificing foreign aid. Conclusion. A divisive issue. As the debate over the Prime Minister's defense plans continues, it remains clear that this issue will be a defining moment in UK politics. The tension between national security and global responsibility is not easily resolved, and it has highlighted the deep divides within British society regarding the country's priorities. Eamonn Holmes' strong condemnation of the government's actions serves as a reminder that many people in the UK feel that their country is turning its back on the very values it once championed. Whether or not the government will adjust its plans in response to public pressure remains to be seen, but one thing is certain, the discussion about the balance between military strength and global compassion is far from over. Eamonn Holmes, the celebrated broadcaster and former This Morning presenter, has caused a stir with a recent on-air confession regarding his marriage to fellow television personality Ruth Langsford. The remark, made during a live broadcast on GB News, has sparked widespread discussion and left many viewers uncomfortable, raising questions about the boundaries of personal disclosures in the world of television. The awkward confession. Eamonn Holmes, who has been known for his candid and sometimes cheeky remarks, was engaged in a conversation with his GB News co-hosts when he made an offhand comment about his relationship with Ruth Langsford. While the exact wording of the confession was not fully detailed, the remark was enough to catch the attention of the viewers and the media. It was widely perceived as an awkward moment, with many questioning whether such a personal topic should have been brought up in a professional setting. In the context of the conversation, Eamonn's comment seemed to come out of nowhere, leaving some of his co-hosts visibly uncomfortable and unsure of how to respond. The awkward pause that followed the remark only amplified the tension in the studio, making it clear that this was a moment that didn't quite fit with the usual tone of the show. It was a rare instance where a public figure's personal life seemed to spill into the professional domain in an unscripted and somewhat awkward way. Public reaction and social media buzz. The awkwardness of Eamonn's confession did not go unnoticed by viewers, who quickly took to social media to express their reactions. Twitter, in particular, saw a flurry of comments, with many users remarking on how uncomfortable the moment had made them feel. Some viewers felt that Eamonn had crossed a line by discussing such a private matter on air, while others speculated about the reasons behind the comment and whether it was intentional or an off-the-cuff remark. The debate soon spread beyond social media, with some media outlets picking up on the moment and discussing whether or not it was appropriate for a broadcaster to air personal details about their private lives on live television. While some defended Eamonn, suggesting that his honesty and openness are what make him a relatable and beloved figure to many, others argued that such remarks should have been kept for more private conversations rather than aired to a national audience. Background on Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford. The confession comes after a turbulent period for Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford. The couple, who had been married for 14 years, made headlines in May 2024 when they announced their separation. The split shocked many fans, as the pair had long been regarded as one of television's most stable and enduring couples. Their relationship had been a staple on This Morning, with Eamonn and Ruth often sharing moments of humor and affection on-screen. Despite the separation, the pair have continued to work together in various professional capacities, maintaining a cordial relationship. However, their private lives have been the subject of intense media scrutiny ever since they announced their split. Eamonn and Ruth have both spoken publicly about their decision to part ways, emphasizing that they remain on good terms and continue to co-parent their son, Jack. Still, their split has undoubtedly left an emotional mark on both of them, and their relationship continues to be of interest to the public. The impact on broadcasting ethics. This incident has reignited an ongoing discussion about the boundaries between personal and professional lives, particularly in the world of broadcasting. Eamonn's remark on GB News has prompted many to question whether it's appropriate for broadcasters to share such personal details in a public setting. In an industry where public figures are often under the spotlight, the line between what is considered acceptable and what crosses into the realm of oversharing can sometimes become blurred. Some argue that Eamonn's openness and willingness to share his personal experiences make him more relatable to viewers. In an age where audiences increasingly crave authenticity and transparency, the ability to connect with a public figure on a personal level can be seen as a positive trait. By discussing his marriage, Eamonn may have unintentionally deepened his connection with his audience, giving them a glimpse into his real-life challenges and emotions. On the other hand, there are those who believe that broadcasting personal matters on air can undermine the professionalism of the television industry. The argument here is that while celebrities are often the subject of public interest, their private lives should remain just that, private. Some viewers felt uncomfortable with the way Eamonn's confession played out on live television, viewing it as an inappropriate topic for such a public platform. The fine line between personal and professional. The line between personal and professional lives has always been a tricky one for public figures, and it seems that Eamonn Holmes' recent remark has only highlighted the difficulties in navigating this balance. While viewers enjoy seeing the human side of their favorite personalities, there are also clear boundaries that should be respected. In this instance, Eamonn's comment may have unintentionally blurred that line, leaving many to question how much personal information is too much. For broadcasters and presenters, there's always the risk that something said in the heat of the moment could unintentionally cause discomfort or embarrassment for themselves or others. In this case, Eamonn's remark raised the question of how much a public figure should be willing to reveal about their private lives, especially when it comes to sensitive matters like marriage and personal relationships. The future of Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford's careers. Despite the awkward moment on GB News, it's clear that Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford remain popular figures in British television. Both continue to maintain successful careers, with Eamonn recently joining GB News after his departure from This Morning and Ruth continuing her work as a presenter on various television programs. Their separation has not impacted their professional standing, and they continue to be sought after for various media opportunities. It's possible that the awkward moment during the GB News segment will soon be forgotten, as the news cycle moves on to other stories. However, it's also a reminder of the challenges that public figures face when it comes to balancing their personal and professional lives. Eamonn's confession, while awkward, has once again highlighted the complex relationship between celebrities and their audiences, and the fine line between maintaining privacy and sharing personal moments with the public. Conclusion. Eamonn Holmes' recent on-air confession about his marriage to Ruth Langsford has generated significant buzz, with viewers offering a variety of reactions. While some appreciated his candidness, others felt uncomfortable with the public nature of his remark. This incident serves as a reminder of the delicate balance that broadcasters must strike when it comes to discussing personal matters on public platforms. Whether intentional or not, Eamonn's comment has sparked an important conversation about the role of personal disclosure in the media and the ethics surrounding the sharing of private details in a public forum.